Hey guys. So it's an exciting day, 6 years in the making. After being in the Petersen Automotive Museum in Los Angeles since 2019, I'm proud to say that our other screen use kit has returned. Now, the car was only supposed to be in that museum for 1 year, but the folks at the Petersen were so accommodating, and the feedback from the public was so positive that we kept extending our contract with them and extending it. But we decided, it was time to get the car back in our hands. There's a number of things that need done to this car to get it back to its screen used condition. So what I want to do today is show you the car, go over it, and tell you about its history and what needs done to it, what our plans are for it in the future. So with that said, let's show you around this screen use kit. Our newest license plate is now available. The world's first screen-accurate replica of the original Knight plate seen in the very first episodes of the show. Plus, we still have our Season 2 and 3 Knight, Car, and Flag 1 plates, all highly screen-accurate and copied from the originals. So kick your Knight Rider license plate collection into high gear with our exclusive line, only available at knightriderhistorians.com.
By yourself, yeah, you come out here by the tire.
Go ahead and move it all the way out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Go ahead and tuck it.
It's just like a regular car. Brake pedal, put it in gear. Don't hit anything. You can just put it straight up the driveway. All right, so here we have one of the 5 surviving screen-used Knight Rider cars. But this isn't just any screen-used kit. And I was gonna say it's very special, but really, aren't they all very special? No, but this car in particular is very interesting because It was one of the first 3 Trans Ams secured by series creator Glenn A. Larson to film the pilot. And even more than that, technically, if you look at the way the studio inventoried these cars, the studio would put numbers on these cars, kind of like a VIN number, but their own internal inventory system. If you look at it from that perspective, this is technically the first kit. This is not the one that Michael Chaffee designed his amazing dashboard in, but it is the one that John Ward designed his original stock-looking customized front nose to film the pilot. And geez, that was a loud acorn on the roof. Wow. Well, when I finish the insulation, then it won't be that loud. Anyways, this car was used in all 4 years of the show, and probably most famously was the car that you see in the opening seconds of the Knight Rider intro racing towards you in the desert. So in that regard, this car was used in every single episode. So let's go ahead and give you a walk around of it and tell you what makes this particular car different than the other surviving kit cars. And I know what you're thinking, there's a blue 57 Chevy there, Knight Rider 2000. That is not in any way why this car is here. It's just a happy coincidence. So, all right, let's go ahead and go over technically the first kit. All right, we are gonna start at the rear end. So what are we looking at here? Well, we're looking at kit, right? Okay. So we've got the taillight blackout. This is not the original taillight blackout. The original one was broken and long gone. This car has had a very interesting history. It's after the show ended, it, along with 3 of the other surviving Knight Rider cars, were purchased by a company called Hollywood Productions. Hollywood Productions did some modifications to the cars. They put a different dash in, which we'll talk about all that. But this car was sold off in the early 1990s by Hollywood Productions, ended up 5 or 6 years later in a San Diego auction lot, car auction lot, totally dilapidated. One of the T-tops was missing, rain and weather got inside. It was a mess. It was purchased by the previous owner, the one that we got it from, and he did a restoration on this car, brought it back, brought the shine back, repainted it. In that process, he stripped all of the paint off of the car and repainted it, which is kind of unfortunate. It would have been nice to have all of those original layers of paint, but I can understand why he did it. It was in pretty rough shape. Stripped it all down, repainted it, and then we got it from him in 2007. So this blackout is not original. The mounts for the blackouts are recreated exactly like they were on the show. Whenever we got the car, it was mounted a little bit differently. We fixed that and restored it back to the original blackout mounts. This license plate is very interesting. It might look like the replica that I currently sell, which, by the way, I still have some if you're interested, knightriderhistorians.com. But this plate is not. But it's not an original either. This has an interesting history. So about 15 years ago, I reached out to the company that made the plates for the show, and they made us 6 original plates because they had leftover plate blanks and these cutout letters and everything. And they said, we have enough material left to make you 6 plates. So he made 6 plates for us, which was awesome. This is one of those 6 plates. We didn't want to put an original plate on the car because, you know, a plate like this and the way it's constructed would wear a little bit more, and we wanted to preserve the original plates that we have, so we keep those off the car. We figured this was the best alternative because it was made by the same company using the same techniques that the original plates were made. All right, so that's our rear end. The car does still sport its original dual resonator exhaust from 1982. All right, let's do a walk around here. Show you a little bit of the car. Now, for those of you longtime viewers of the channel, I did do a brief overview of this car at the Petersen when we were out there last October, but all right, side profile. First of all, there's plastic under it because we have a transmission leak, so obviously that's gonna get fixed. Interestingly, I just fixed a transmission leak on our other original car, so I'm well versed in what I need to do. All right, first thing you might notice, white letter tires. Everyone asks me, the number one question, KITT did not have white letter tires. Why do you have white letter tires? This is not controversial, but whenever Hollywood Productions purchased the cars from Universal, they, one of the things they did is replace all the tires. We believe they had a contract or some kind of an endorsement deal with BF Goodrich because all of the original cars got these radial TA 60Hs, as well as some of the tour cars, the replica tour cars that Hollywood Productions had built prior to getting ownership of the originals. So these tires are actually from 1987. They look pretty good, don't they? But again, why do we still have them on here? Well, this is a source of, not contention between me and AJ. I want to put the original Eagle GTs back on. AJ wants to maintain the white letter tires because they're part of the car's history, which you can't disagree with. They are part of the car's history. But I think the white letter tires need to go. So in talking to AJ, what we're going to do is we have a couple spare sets of 15-inch turbo casts. So I think I'm going to mount the Goodyear Eagle GTs on one of those other sets, and we'll swap them. We'll keep the rims and these tires together, put them in storage, and put another set on. So rest assured, we're gonna have the Eagle GTs back on this at some point soon. All right. Other thing you might notice is how low this car sits to the ground, lower than all of the other surviving cars. And here is why. This is one of the two surviving KITT cars, actually one of the two KITT cars that had the high traction drop downs from the season 2 episode Speed Demons, had the high traction drop downs installed. The other car that had these is no longer with us. It was destroyed when the series, actually before the series ended. It was destroyed in season 3. So this is the only surviving high traction drop down car. The reason it's sitting like this is twofold. One, there are spring compressors on the back, which is lowering it. And two, the high traction drop down hydraulic cylinders are missing from the rear end. We still have them in the front, which I'll show you here in a little bit, but let's open the trunk. This is a good segue. I already have it unlocked here. Now there we go. The cylinders, or the gas struts, need replaced, as you can see. All right, so here is the board I made for this car, because we are taking this car to RetroCon, hopefully. It's got a few small issues, but look, Petersen gave us the display board. Isn't that awesome? All right, so the first thing you're going to notice back here, besides the replacement gas struts, which we are going to put on, oh look, it's staying up now, are these 3 holes. All right, so what are we looking at here? Why do we have these 3 holes? Oh, and by the way, this car did have the privacy door originally, so the privacy door is long gone. We have a spare one. We may put it back in. We'll see. All right, so these holes, The hydraulic cylinders for the rear high traction drop downs were placed in these two outer holes. They would push on the suspension, push on the springs, and it would lift the rear end when hydraulic pressure was added. The hole in the center was for the hydraulic lines to run to the front of the car, because down in this pit down here, they had a hydraulic pump, a 12-volt hydraulic pump. Now, the hydraulic pump, the cylinders, the hoses, they're all gone, as you can see. The only thing left are the hydraulic cylinders in the engine bay. So I'm gonna show you guys, because one of the goals of this is we're gonna restore the high traction drop downs, which are gonna be amazing. So I want to show you guys the cylinders under the engine, because chances are these were the same ones, and we need to see if we can find a set of those, which would be awesome. I have the pump. I have what I think is the pump that they used. So, and what's really interesting is there's a scene in Night of the Juggernaut. This car was used in Night of the Juggernaut among many other episodes. It was primered gray, the doors were removed, and you see a guy welding in the door jamb. That was this car. And there's a great scene where you see a worker back here, and he's like wrenching on something, and you can see the trunk latch. You can see it's the exact same trunk latch, but you can also see the hydraulic hoses just poking in the corner of the frame right here, coming from the pump and running this way. So with that image, we were able to figure out that the pump goes there, the lines run through there, you know, all that fun stuff. I don't know if this will pick up. I don't know if you can see. No, it's too dark. I'll show you a picture, but you can kind of see the plates that they installed down in those holes for the ram to push against. All right, so this might actually be a good segue to the hydraulic rams. So they are right here. Now, let me see if I can shed some light on this so you can see. 1 second. Yeah, so you see these hydraulic lines right here. So there's the connector at the top. So the line would have screwed in here, and then there's the cylinder still filled with hydraulic fluid. Unfortunately, and I'm not sure how well you can see this, but there's no markings at all on these pumps. So we're looking for one, you know, something like that. Ideally, it'd be great to find the exact ones, but I don't know. We might have to get in there and kind of take this apart and see. There's a look at the other one right there. They're just no marks on them. Maybe there were at one point. Maybe there was a sticker, but they are long gone. So, but we want to restore. We want to restore that because we want to be able to turn the high traction drop downs on this car. I think that would be ridiculous, don't you? Absolutely ridiculous. All right, so that's what we have going on back here. I'm going to put this back. Close this. I'm not locking it right now. Got, of course, the clear non-defrost rear hatch. And we believe, we don't know if this was ever changed. It might have been, the original one might have been busted from stunts or whatnot, but this car from the factory came without rear defrost. So it very well could be the original glass hatch. We just don't know. All right, so what else do we have? There's the engine bay. That's the original, or that's an aftermarket air cleaner, just like the show had. The mechanic, Willie Stabile, they replaced all of the air cleaners on the show, the factory ones, with these ones, just because they're easy to get access to the carburetor. They could just unscrew that nut, pull it off, and they'd be there. Whereas the factory one, there was a snorkel and connections and vacuum hoses, and so they eliminated all of that. So this is really interesting. This is AJ's creation, and it still needs obviously some cleaning up, but that is for the scanner. One day AJ is going to do a video on this, but back years ago we found, thanks to John Ward, the customizer who built this car originally, we found the person who made the original scanner electronics. You know what I'm talking about. You see it mainly in the first season, KITT's all-on effect, and you see some different patterns. We found the guy that made that, and he still had the schematics. So AJ, being AJ, recreated them, and this car had, the scanner circuitry is running the original circuitry from 1982, obviously modernized, but there you go. Hopefully that made sense. All right, let's go inside. Let's see what we got inside here. All right, start with the door here. Original door panel, as far as we know. Little detail that we added later was the 82 only window crank plugs. This is an early 82 piece, and this car from the factory had those plugs, so added those. And then just little things like screws here holding down this trim piece. Normally a factory car would not have this, but this particular car did. You can see it on the show. And when we were doing our archaeology on the car, we took this off. Sure enough, there was a hole right there. So we recreated it, put the screw back in. Same thing with the screws on the sail panel right there, the speaker cover. The chrome coat hooks. This is the one and only car that had the chrome coat hooks. A lot of you replica builders have replicated those chrome coat hooks. It was because of this exact car. Trunk pull cable, that's all original. When Hollywood Productions got these cars, got this car specifically, the seats and the fabric were in terrible shape. So what he actually did is he went to junkyards in the area. This was, again, back in late 80s, and he would buy up tan PMD seats and use the fabric to repair these seats. So this is original PMD seat fabric. All right, let's go over this dashboard. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is this is not in any way accurate to the series. Well, not in any way. It bears a similar resemblance, right? This particular car never had a full dash in it. In the first season, it had a sticker dash. It was literally the shell of a dash with stickers everywhere. Later on, by season 3, it had a completely blank dash plug in it with a line lock light right about here, but there was nothing else in there. So when Hollywood Productions got this car, they put a replica dash in. So this is all circa, most of it is circa 1987, and these were made pretty much identical to the tour cars of the time, the non-screen used replicas that toured malls, World of Wheels, whatever. The dashboard, this is, as you'll recognize, the dash-on-dash look from season 1. This was pulled from the original Universal Studios mold in 1987. I'd love to take it out and make a mold of it because no complete mold exists that we know of that original dash-on-dash. Couple of the things that we did after we got the car to kind of make it more in line, replaced the TVs with the correct CRTs, the correct season 1 bezel, put the correct PA and P switches in, put a more accurate voice box bezel in. But, you know, in looking at this now, again, this was many, many years ago. This needs some additional work. These colors are too vibrant. They're not correct. So this is going to get kind of redone. Pods, these are all fake buttons. They don't do anything. This is literally just resin with some screen printed words. So again, not original to the show, but original to the car after Hollywood Productions got it. The steering wheel is screen used and original, and this is the steering wheel that was in the right-hand blind drive car whenever Hollywood Productions got those 4 surviving cars. A lot of the parts were swapped between different cars as they were rebuilding them, and this steering wheel actually belongs in that right-hand blind drive car. You can see it's a season 3-4, it's got the grips, it's got the cutout for where the LEDs would normally go, but they never put them in on this wheel. This was just pulled directly out of the mold, and there you go. The lower console, the frame, or the fiberglass is original season 2 lower console, but it was replaced again by Hollywood Productions. They just put red plexi in there, just something to liven up. It doesn't do anything. There's no pushable buttons. It's all just for show. So the jury's out on what we're going to do with this. Are we going to make any tweaks to it to bring it closer in line to screen used, even though this car didn't really have any of this stuff when it was used on the show? I don't really know. For now, we're just gonna leave this alone. So we got the steering wheel that is original, and probably more exciting is this overhead console is original. This is the console that you would see Hasselhoff pressing mainly in season 2. Because this was the season 2 insert car, and whenever it got repurposed after season 2, they never removed the overhead. This is the screen used season 2 overhead. So these are all pressable buttons. See here, we're missing one of the white ones. We'll replace that. But these buttons down here, which are very interesting, these keyboard buttons, they're actually pressable because Hasselhoff needed a tactile response. It'd help with his acting to actually have a tactile response. So these actually press in, which is really, really cool. So that is your screen used season 2 overhead console and buttons. And then if we pop the T-top, there we go. You'll see this car also has an original set of T-top caps. I know a couple of the replica builders, Knight Designs, have replicated these covers. These are original right there. Look at that. Just gives it a nice finished off look. What do you think? All right. We've got the original clear windshield in there, as you can see. Just close that. The front of the car. So there's the front. This bumper is not the bumper that was on the car when we got it. So the car was stored in a damp environment for a while. And what happened was the paint on the original bumper bubbled in places. So we had to get this car to the Petersen. So I ended up taking the original bumper off with the plan to fix it and put it back on. In the meantime, this is a mold from our Hoff nose. So this is a mold directly from Screen Used Original. So we put it on this car so it could go to the Petersen. Again, thinking it would just be 1 year, and it's been 6. So one of the other things we're gonna be doing is removing this front nose and putting the original front nose back on. We've got our fog lights down there, skid plate, camera tow bar receiver, and I made a very, very interesting discovery about the camera tow bar receiver. I'm gonna do a whole video on it, so that'll be coming out soon, but this car is amazing. I mean, the history behind this car. It needs a tune-up. The fuel pump might actually be going bad. We're not sure, the mechanical fuel pump. So we might have to do some some work there, but it needs a little bit of TLC, especially from sitting for so many years. But the next thing we're gonna have to do, and again, this will probably be its own video, is I want to bring our two screen used cars together. Literally, this is the only place in the entire world where you can have two screen used cars together. So I want to bring those together for a special video, help you see some of the differences in them when they're both together. But what a piece of history. So lots of plans here. I know some of you guys were bummed that it was removed from the Petersen, but you had 6 years, so no one to blame but yourself. All right, so that is our other screen used kit. Parked safely with our other kit. It's not really kit. Like I said, weird coincidence. And then maybe we'll bring our other kit here once we finish our cleanup of our garage. All right, guys, well, hope you enjoyed this video, and much more to come on this car in the future. Might be a little while. We're gonna focus on finishing the Semi, but got lots of plans for this one. So hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching, always appreciate it, and we will talk to you soon.
Hello friends, it's me, Kit. When I'm not out fighting crime, I like to follow my friends at knightriderhistorians.com. Check it out.